Alright, number 16. Final Destination from 2000. The original. Yo, nothing beats the original. And I know they have a new movie now, fuck this new Final Destination crap, I don't, the Final Destination. You know what? Watch this one. Watch the original from 2000. It stars that dude who was actually the same guy. Man, that was his year, man. He was in Eminem's music video, Stan, and man, he was everywhere in that year. But yeah, I mean, it stars that dude. I call him that dude. It's a great freaking horror movie, man. It's like a thrilling movie where there's this bizarre kind of almost like the supernatural aspect of death, where these people are lucky enough to not survive, but that dude. The main character, he gets premonitions, man. He's like a psychic or something, and he can tell when somebody's gonna get killed, when a horrible incident's gonna happen. So then, he gets this premonition, and he ends up saving a bunch of people, but then unfortunately, for some bizarre reason, nature or whatever ends up kind of trying to balance itself out, because these people should have died. So therefore, nature is trying to kill them off, one by one. And it's just a great thrilling movie, great acting, great characters. The killing scenes are freaking memorable. I mean, one of the most memorable scenes is definitely the one with the bus scene. That's all I have to say, the bus scene. The chick is talking, and then bam, all of a sudden she gets sidelined by a freaking Greyhound bus, man. Or is it even Greyhound? I don't know. It's a big-ass bus. But, I mean, I love the surprising aspect of this movie. There's a lot of surprises in this film, and I appreciate that. They did a really great job with this movie. And, great movie, man. Final Destination from 2000. Go check it out before you even check out any of the other ones. And, in a similar note, if you like this movie, I suggest that you also want to try Final Destination 2 from 2003. Number 15. He Was Cool from 2004. He Was Cool is just a great Korean film. It's like a romance slash kind of a high school film. These two young kind of couple, and they're almost on the opposite ends of on the opposite ends of the social status. The girl, the main character, she's kind of like this really kind of awkward, almost like the shy, kind of innocent young woman, and she's almost like this hopeless case, and she ends up having a romantic relationship with this rough guy, this rough kind of this tough young boy, and he's like, he gets into fights a lot, and he's very rough around the edges, and he's just this tough dude, And I thought the movie had great acting, it had great humor, it had great fight scenes. Oh my god, the fight scenes in this movie, so the best, the fight scenes in this movie are like even better than some of the fight scenes that we've seen in most movies that have legitimate like action sequences, man. I mean, it's well choreographed, it's well paced, very stylized looking fight scenes. I was actually really surprised. This movie is like, this movie is the epitome of kind of like the high school kind of romantic kind of romance relationship, between a boy and a girl, and it's a must watch. He Was Cool, great storyline, great freaking movie. And if you enjoy this film, you might also want to check out My Tutor Friend from 2003. Alright, number 14, Saw from 2004. Saw, great freaking horror movie, one of the best horror films I've seen this particular decade. I mean, it's a great horror film, man. It's a great, thrilling film. It's a really brutal movie, man. You basically have this guy, his name is like, what's his name? Jigsaw, or whatever his name is, and he kind of sets up these traps, putting all these or these almost like these random victims, but they're not really random victims. You know, these calculated freaking mazes and traps and these predicaments, and he put these people in these freaking horrific torture. It's basically a torture scenario. You know, basically ways to kill people. It's just horrific to see these people, and it gets your heart pounding legitimately, because you know these particular individuals are getting killed off. They're getting killed in a slow, brutal manner, man. I mean, a lot of them are getting killed, you know, being, you know, panic and terror being the main theme when they died, or these killing scenes. And that's basically what this movie is all about. It's almost like a snuff film, you know, in a way that the movie is essentially all about the killing scenes and the creativity, you know, the creative death scenes of these particular people. And then you have this guy, this almost like this creepy kind of this omniscient guy who's kind of controlling everything, and you know, he's talking to you, and he's trying to he's basically experimenting on these people, kind of like a scientist with lab mice. You know, he's putting these people in these horrific torture scenarios. And I mean, I like this movie too, because there's great storytelling. It's basically about this man who ends up kind of getting kidnapped, and he's stuck in this room, and he's faced with a dilemma of either having to saw off his foot or risk dying, man. I mean, his family is in danger, and I mean, it's just a really captivating film. I mean, it's one of those movies that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. It's one of those movies that you're going to be talking about. They're going to be talking about years and years from now. And I can see this. You know, I can see Saw. You know, in 2020, 2030, people are going to be looking back on this the way that people look back on movies like The Shining. You know, great movie. And if you enjoy this film, I also want to suggest that you try Saw 2 from 2005. Number 13, Memento from 2000. This is a great psychological kind of a thriller crime movie. It's basically about this guy and his if I'm not mistaken, it's either his girlfriend or his wife. His girl ends up getting killed brutally by this criminal guy, and he ends up, the main character, the guy, he ends up having like this brain kind of dysfunctionality with his memory, you know, and so he has horrible memory. You know, he can only remember things for a certain period, and then he forgets about it, and so unfortunately he can't remember things, so he has to write them down. He has to tattoo them, actually literally tattoo his body with information, you know, so that he remembers it at least, so he can somehow try and trace back the events that are happening. And what he wants to do is he wants to seek revenge for his fallen girl. You know, he wants to avenge the death of his loved one. And so, trying to retrace his steps, the movie is told in a flashback format, so it works its way backwards, all the way up to basically the beginning and the root. And so it's a great thrilling movie. It keeps you guessing. The acting is pretty good. The guy himself is almost kind of generic, but at least the movie is somewhat saved by the good plot line. It's great storyline, and one of a genuinely thrilling movie. Man, it's one of those. It's one of the best psychological kind of mind fuck kind of movies, memory kind of lost identity kind of movies that you know, a great movie that follows up something like a Fight Club. So if you're into movies like Fight Club, you'll definitely enjoy Memento. And if you enjoy this film, I also want to suggest Identity from 2003. Identity is a great multi-personality kind of themed kind of movie. So, great movie as well. Number 12,